Founding father, inventor, writer, diplomat. Benjamin Franklin did it all. But did you know he was also a connoisseur of fine drinks? Turns out, when he wasn't busy shaping the foundations of democracy, he was perfecting the art of boozy refreshments. Welcome back to History in a Glass. I'm Josh, your guide on this tipsy time machine of history. Today we're diving into the Age of Enlightenment, a time when political revolutions, scientific discoveries, and strong drinks were all the rage. And nobody embodied this era quite like Ben Franklin, a man who loved intellectual debates as much as he loved a well-crafted punch. We're getting adventurous in this episode using milk and eggs as some of our ingredients. We'll be making a milk punch, a silky clarified cocktail, the version that Franklin himself documented. And we'll also be crafting a flip, a colonial favorite that involved beer, rum, eggs, and a red-hot poker, because apparently 18th century bartenders had a flair for the dramatic. So grab your ingredients, follow along, and let's taste some history. Benjamin Franklin wasn't just a statesman. He was a lifelong experimenter. In 1763, he sent a letter to his friend James Bowden with a recipe for milk punch, a drink that was part chemistry experiment and part practical tavern staple. Franklin's original recipe was designed for a large batch, meant to be made ahead of time and stored for weeks, even months. One key step that's often omitted in modern versions is the infusion of brandy with lemon peels for 24 hours before mixing. This deepens the citrus flavor and softens the alcohol's bite. Additionally, rather than using cold milk, warm milk was traditionally added. This helped separate the milk solid more effectively and contributed to the drink's signature smoothness. While there are other versions of this recipe out there, we're sticking close to the one that Franklin documented. I tried to calculate Franklin's large recipe down to a small amount, just about enough for a few glasses. Here's what you'll need for this small batch. We'll need 12 ounces of brandy or a similar VSOP cognac. We're also going to need 3 lemons, and we're going to peel those lemons and soak those peels in that brandy for 24 hours at room temperature. For this recipe, I'm using Maison Rouge VSOP. This is a French cognac-style brandy with deep, rich flavors that would have been similar to what Franklin used in the 18th century. French brandies were widely imported in colonial America, prized for their smoothness and depth. If you can't find Maison Rouge VSOP, good alternatives include Hennessy VSOP, Pierre Ferrand 1840, or even an aged American apple brandy, like Layered 7.5-year-old for a colonial twist. We'll also need 3 tablespoons of sugar, 4 ounces of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 1 cup of water, and 3/4 of a cup of whole milk. And then we're also going to freshly grate 1/4 of 1 nutmeg. To make this the old school way, we're going to start by warming our milk. We're going to get this warm enough that it's steaming, but definitely not boiling. Once it's steaming, this should be just warm enough to encourage curdling. I'm going to go get that on the stove and start that heating, and we'll get to the next steps. So while our milk is warming, we're going to combine the rest of our ingredients into a large bowl. We'll start with straining our infused brandy. Next, we'll add in our water, our 3 tablespoons of sugar, and our 4 ounces of lemon juice. Now we'll just need to mix until the sugar is fully dissolved. We'll now slowly pour the alcohol mixture into the warm milk. We don't ever want to do this the other way around. Pouring the alcohol into the warm milk will help allow proper curdling. We can already see some curdling start to occur. So let's go ahead and add about 1/4 of our nutmeg. With our nutmeg added, we're just going to give it a quick stir. So now we're going to let this mixture sit for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back and give it a gentle stir. After that, we'll let it rest again for another 20 minutes, and then we'll stir it one more time. And then after that, it needs to sit for about an hour and a half. All right, so it's been an hour and a half, and as you can see, our mixture has started to clarify a bit, but now we need to strain this a few times to make it a little bit more clear. So I'm gonna start off with some cheesecloth and a strainer. So let's see what happens when we pour this in and begin our straining process. Just gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of a press. So strain number 2. The good news is I have less curdled milk in here, so it should be a little bit smoother and quicker. So right out of the gate, I was expecting this to be a bit more clear than it is, but hey, amateur bartender here, I think we're okay to try this. So let's go ahead and pour some into our glass. I'm just gonna give this a stir so it chills. This is my first time trying an alcoholic punch derived from milk. Let's see why Franklin stocked his cellar full of bottles of milk punch. Cheers. You know, that's actually surprisingly smooth. I wasn't sure what to expect, but this does have like a bit of creaminess. It is very citrusy, and it has just a hint of warmth from the brandy that we put in there. I definitely see why Franklin took the time to write this one down, and I bet you it'd be even better if I could match exactly his recipe. If milk punch was Franklin's refined intellectual drink, the flip was the blue-collar energy boost of the colonies. This was the go-to drink in taverns across New England. It's a mix of beer, rum, sugar, and eggs, served hot by plunging a red-hot poker straight into the mug. That's right, bartenders back then weren't just pouring drinks, they were wielding fire. This wasn't just about adding heat. It caramelized the sugars, created a frothy texture, and added a slight smokiness. It was part drink, part performance art. So here's what you need to make a flip. To start off, we're gonna need a dark ale or porter. We're also gonna use some dark rum. We're gonna use a little bit of molasses, and the signature of this drink, an egg. So same as before, I'm looking to try to match historical flavors. So I'm using Samuel Smith's Taddy Porter, which is a traditional brown ale. This is a rich, malty porter that mirrors the kind of beers enjoyed in colonial taverns. So if you want to stay true to history, try Fuller's London Porter, Samuel Smith's Taddy Porter, or a traditional English brown ale. Once again, I'm using Privateer Navy Yard rum, as it's crafted in a way that closely resembles 18th century styles. So with that, let's build a flip. The first step of the flip is to prep the mixture. You want to make sure that you're using a heat-safe mug or tankard, and in that tankard, we're going to combine the dark ale, the rum, and the molasses. So let's start building the flip. First, we need 12 ounces of our dark ale. We need 1 ounce of dark rum. We need a teaspoon of molasses. Next step is to crack our egg and put it into the mixture. Now that the egg is added, we have to whisk thoroughly until the mixture is fully blended. Now I'm going to use a bit of 21st century technology to mix this to make sure that's all combined. Now that we have this fully mixed, it's time to add heat to the flip. The traditional method uses a hot poker, or you can go an alternate method and put this on the stove. I'm actually going to be using the traditional method with a hot poker to heat this up. You'll need to heat a fireplace poker or iron rod in the embers of a fire or with a blowtorch until it's red hot. Then we're going to carefully plunge the rod into the drink, moving it around to evenly heat the mixture. The heat from this rod will instantly caramelize the sugar. It'll also froth the egg and adds a bit of smoky depth to the drink. Now, if you don't have a poker or a hot rod to use, you could very easily just transfer this mixture into a saucepan and gently heat it on the stove over medium to low heat, and make sure you whisk it continuously. After a few minutes, you can pour it back into your mug to serve. So I'm going to go ahead and heat up our poker and add it to our drink. All right, so we have our rod nice and red hot, so let's go ahead and give it a plunge. I'm actually going to move this over to a clear mug so we can see what it looks like. The final touches for the flip, it wouldn't be a Colonial drink if you didn't add some freshly grated nutmeg on top. It looks very creamy, almost like a coffee. So I'm excited to try this. Let's taste a flip. Cheers. Wow, like literally wow. This is like a beer latte. It's very smooth and creamy. I never had an egg and alcoholic beverage before, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but this exceeds my expectations. No wonder why this was a go-to in Colonial taverns and why the bartenders love showing off how to make this. All right, so there you have it. 2 drinks from the Age of Enlightenment, each with their own unique story. The Milk Punch, a refined and scientific marvel that Franklin himself enjoyed, and the Flip, a tavern favorite that quite literally brought the heat. Both drinks showcase the ingenuity of early mixologists, proving that history isn't just something you read about, it's something you can actually taste. So here's the history. Messy, boozy, and full of surprises. Until next time, drink responsibly, or at least, drink historically.